welcome to the Hey Sister podcast, where sisters share real opinions and have honest conversations about life, growth, and everything in between. Hey sisters, how y'all doing?
Hey,
Sisters.
sisters.
Well, before we hop into the episode, let's do a quick check-in. How is everyone feeling? We're going to use the little emotions wheel, so put a word to how it is that you're feeling and tell me what you've been up to.
Okay, according to the emotion wheel, and I don't know if it's accurate, so I'm trying to look up the definition. But I'm feeling like I'm in a silly, goofy mood, so I'm feeling cheeky.
Oh.
But
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
but on the color wheel, cheeky is like by playful. But when I looked it up, it's like a British term that means like you're playful, but like in a mischievous way. So I'm not being rude. I'm just in a
Like
good.
how Love
I'm
Island, they say that a lot.
Oh,
Cheeky,
really?
cheeky.
Okay, well, I'm feeling
Yeah.
cheeky. Shout
Okay.
Love Island. I don't have too many updates, just keeping myself busy.
Love that.
Love that. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty optimistic, beginning of the year. I think the first couple days I was like, oof, stressed because it's like a new year and all that pressure. But now I'm like, okay, I'm getting back into my routine that I want to be in for this year, and I'm feeling pretty good about it. The progress I've made in the past 10 days.
Love that for you.
For me, my word is excited or like eager. And I go on vacation. So I'm going to the warmth. It's so
Yay.
cold in New York, so I'm excited to be on a beach, to be laid out, not worried about anything.
All right, do you want to tell us where you're going or no?
They might pull up on me.
That's fine. That's fine. Amaya actually took my word. I'm feeling optimistic too. I had just a really productive morning of getting my apartment together. I folded my laundry. I've been doing this thing where I'll like look at the clock when I start a task I've been putting off for like days. And it took me like 10 minutes to fold like 2 baskets of laundry. And it was one of those things where it was like, this is ridiculous. Like, just do your laundry. Or yeah, I had like a pretty productive morning. And yeah, I'm excited to record. It's always good catching up with you guys. So for the episode today, I figured kind of hopping off of what Amaya said when her check-in, I figured it would be good for us to kind of talk through some of the pressure around the new year. First off, I feel like there's always a lot of, when January 1st comes around, okay, here's like all the things that I want to accomplish. And sometimes it really feels like a 180 flip as to like how you were before January 1st to after. Sometimes it's a matter of working out more consistently or, changing certain habits or things like that. But also I feel like as we're getting older, we're feeling a lot of that pressure too of, do I need to have XYZ figured out? What do I want my future self to look like? And how do I like go ahead and make those changes? I feel like when it comes to January in general, there's just like a push to do more and just be more disciplined and be exactly how it is that you want your future self to be. But I think that sometimes that can be a little inconducive to like mental health and lead to burnout sometimes too. So before we get into the conversation, I pulled up just like a couple of stats around this too, because I thought it was really interesting, like to see, maybe how this has changed or developed over the past couple of years. But one thing that I really wanted to look into was this idea of like hustle culture and, this idea that you always just have to be doing something and that rest means that you're being lazy and all these different things. First, I found that 78% of workers report burnout and 65% feel pressure to work beyond standard hours as a way to like prove themselves to their manager, prove that they belong where it is that they are or like are a hard worker. So I guess first, before we get started, do you guys feel like a pressure to like whether it's perform or to like really be hustling in order to achieve your goals? Or do you feel like you're just kind of chilling and, making good steps, but like not burning yourself out over it?
See, I kind of feel like not too pressured, honestly. I think the past like 5 to 6 years, I have hustled my ass off. Like I have been in the trenches, not even just the trenches, but like I was very much like no sleep. I'm at work. I go home. I go to work. Like I'm at the studio late. I wake up. I'm at work again. Like I was very much like I'm working. All my activities were like still some things surrounded by work. I was just like work, 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 work. Which is also like fun because I work in like the music industry and like entertainment industry. But it's also just like very exhausting. Like it's always like you're always on, not like you're always on the edge, but you're kind of always on the edge because stuff always like will go wrong or people might call you at 12 a.m. or you're working on like London time, so you have to be up at 12 a.m. because that's when they're getting up. So it's just like you're basically like just working around the clock 24 hours. And when I got laid off last year, I think the like half of the year last year, I really was just like resting so much. Like I'm sleeping, I'm not doing anything. I'm like I have nothing to do but to apply to jobs and do other things and make money. But it was just like I really have nothing to do. Like every day felt like the weekend because I'm just trying to fill my day up with stuff. So I think now I'm kind of like in the middle of it. I'm like, okay, I'm not like resting as much as I was, but I'm also like not pressured to like do too much because I feel like I've put in so much work. So now I'm just like, I'm ready for a common medium. Like, I'm ready to still work hard and do all the things I need to do to like elevate in my career, but I'm also like, I'm not like, I used to always say, you can sleep when you die. Like, no, you can actually sleep right now. Like, it's
Yeah.
fine.
I really like that saying. I've never like heard it like that before. I think that's one thing that I'm going to continue working on. I think for me, it really depends on like what sector of my life that we're referring to. Like with work, it's 5 o'clock. I will be shutting down that laptop. There is like little to no need, at least in my role right now, to work late. And my boss is like pretty adamant. He's like, we can get it done in 8 hours. And like, if on the off chance that you can't, like that happens, but it's not like a common practice at my role, which I really enjoy. Like this past week was pretty busy because I have a big project coming up. And I was like looking at my upcoming projects and I was like, Lord, I can't do nothing this big for at least another 3 months. So please don't have anything this big coming up. And thankfully, like I don't. So like it helps me like get through those hard times because I'm like, I know it's not like forever. It's just like a season of like having to work this hard. In my personal life, I do tend to keep pretty busy. So at least I like have some like available time off from work to be able to do that, which is nice. So I
Yeah.
feel like any extra burnout is because I like put it upon myself, which I feel like is a good thing, at least for me. How about you, Brooklyn?
I think like a kind of similar. I think I think a common. Sorry, I think I caught my throat. I think a common similar thing for me, like I depends on the sector, but like at least for work, like similar to my like when I was working, I was done at 5 o'clock. Like I got done early some days, so like it was very calm. Like when it came to work, and I feel like not being in school, I don't have like if I don't feel academic pressure. Like as long as I pass, like I feel very good. So when I'm learning something new, so I feel like it's no real pressure there. I feel like it's like more like my extracurriculars, I guess I'll say, because like I'm always doing something like very random. So like I'll be coaching or like I'll be like having a random job. And I think like Maya said, I put a lot of pressure sometimes on myself because I just have all these jobs and I don't like not committing to them. So like I have to feel like I have to give 100% to everything I'm doing, which obviously doesn't make sense sometimes, but I don't feel too much pressure, I would say. Just kind of vibing through life.
It's actually interesting then because I think that makes the conversation more interesting because you have you and Amaya on one side of the spectrum who are like just vibing and putting the
Oh
extra pressure on
no,
yourself.
sorry. Not just vibing.
Join the team, Amaya.
Oh, okay.
I would love to be her category, but my heart is racing right now.
Okay, but still, I think like the spectrum like left to right is maybe like Brooklyn and Maya Faith, and then you have me where I'm like, I am burnt out. Like I'm just like completely burnt out, and I think it's 100% by nature of my job. I very intentionally went to business school and was like, I will not be going into consulting. I will not be going into banking because I know how those industries work, and I know that they are very like output, 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 no sleep. And so I thought I was being cute and was like, I'm gonna go into media and entertainment, like cute, fun, right? No, it's not fun. It is not. It is not what I thought it would be. Like my 9 to 5 can be a 9 to 7 some days, can be a 9 to 9 some days, can be a 9 to midnight some days. It really like it's one of those things that I find difficult to conceptualize because we are making TV and movie shows or TV shows and movies where I work and I don't understand like the urgency behind some of the things that we're doing because we're not in the medical field, we're not like saving lives. Like I don't even think consultants and bankers need to be like doing the things that they're doing either, but like especially in my industry, I get kind of frustrated sometimes because I just don't get why things have to be like so right now. And I think that that kind of leads to that for me like very overwhelming burnout. I will say that hopefully no one from work is listening to this, but I will say that, like, my team that I was on before they switched me teams at the beginning of the year, I was like 0%, like spent. Like I was like, I have nothing else to give. Whereas this new team that I'm on, I feel like I've done a really good job of setting boundaries. The area that I'm working in isn't like as immediate. So I feel like I have a little bit of time to myself, but I don't know. I think that's been like the main thing that I've been kind of navigating is how do I like manage this burnout, because especially in this role, it doesn't seem like it's going anywhere, which means the next step means that like if I want to manage it, I gotta go kind of thing. So I think that that's like it's interesting because we're all kind of in different spaces with it, I guess kind of thinking back to when we were growing up and stuff, where did you see your career as a kid, and like what did you want to be growing up, and kind of what has that path been for you?
Growing up, I really wanted to be a girl boss. My mom is like super pro, like working hard, entrepreneur. She's always done like a million different things. She's like written books. She's like public speaker. So I've always had like a really like strong like female like go-getter in my household. So my first like cognizant memory of something that I wanted to be when I was a child is the president of the United States. Shout out to Obama for giving me that dream. I was so inspired by him. We got the same birthday. So I was like, I see this for
I
myself.
didn't know that. Okay.
And my mom also saw it for myself because my first email is voteformaya@gmail.com. And I like still use that actively. And I remember I would give it out to people like later in life and they'd be like, what are you running for? And I was like, president when I was 8. And from there, I said, let me, be a little bit more realistic. I'm gonna be a lawyer. That was kind of like middle school. And I feel like a lot of Black women or girls who have like somewhat of a little smart mouth gets told that they should be a lawyer. And so that's probably where that came from. And then high school, I was like, business. Went to college, I said, business. And then I met with the recruiter and they were like, oh, like, what do you want to do in business? And I said, I don't know. I just want a job. So then I took some classes and I kind of fell into like the tech category. And I was like, okay, this is like where it makes sense. So I started off doing consulting, then program management. And now I'm kind of back to doing like tech consulting, project management work. So yeah, definitely I feel like I pretty had like a linear path. Like I'm not a lawyer, but it kind of like made sense, like my trajectory. Like I didn't really have any like huge moments of like I don't know what I want to do, or like I switched from something like completely different. And yeah, I'll probably stay on this path for sure.
I had great aspirations as a kid. I wanted to be a teacher.
That's such a good job though.
Yeah. I wanted to be a teacher so bad. As a kid, like that, I was like, you could ask anybody, I was going to be a teacher. Like I had plans, da da da. I didn't care what grade. I just knew I wanted to be a teacher. Our mom, me and Bria's mom, is also a teacher, and so I was like, yeah, I want to do exactly this. She wouldn't let me. She was like, absolutely not. You're not doing that. So pick another one. So it's like, okay. So kind of went through, I don't know, just figuring it out. At some point, I said I wanted to be a doctor, but if you know me, I am terrified of blood and I'm terrified of needles. Terrified.
That was literally never
I will
going to
pass
work.
out. I will pass out if I see any of the above, but I wanted to be a doctor. I just like wanted to be able to like save people. Like that felt like a really cool job. So initially when I was going to school, I like would tell everybody that I was gonna go pre-med. I had every plan in my heart to be a doctor. Then I just became realistic with myself that didn't make any sense given I couldn't even look at blood. We moved that along. So then when I joined my undergrad, me and Amaya had the same scholarship and you had to be a business major. Like that was our one rule. Like you had to get a degree from the business school. So I was like, oh, fine, I guess I'll do marketing. I did marketing, but like I've switched a lot of like I had a lot of internships and like roles in my undergrad. So I was on sales for like a quick second. And I was doing then I was doing like retail planning, and then I was doing digital merchandising, and then I went into like online business, and now I was starting school and I'm switching to consulting. So a lot of different like waves. I still don't know like what my dream job is. So I think I'm still like figuring that out. So I still don't know what I'm gonna be like when I grow up. But I don't know. I like doing a lot of different things. I think like this is why I'm gonna enjoy consulting for a little bit, because I just to do a million different things at the same place. So
what I want to do as a kid. I feel like my career path I don't want to say it doesn't make sense, but I feel like I'm just all over the place. So as a kid, I wasn't really anything I was like, "Ooh, I want to be," but my very first like memory of like, "Oh, I want to do that" as an astronaut. I
Hmm.
just wanted to like be above the world and look down and be like, "Wow, this is really cool." And I think after that, I wanted to be like a songwriter. I used to like always remix songs, like just write songs in my journal. Then I feel like in middle school, I wanted to be like a scientist because I'm like, oh, I could study rocks and like write in all the science textbooks, and that could be me finding, making sure animals don't go extinct and shit like that. And then high school came around, and then I remember my aunt, she was like, "Oh, you have such great ideas." Like I was helping her with consulting with something. She was like, "Oh, you should be in marketing." And from that moment, I was like, "Well, my aunt said it. I'm gonna be a marketer." Like, I don't know what that is, but I'm gonna go do that in college. And then in college, I was studying business at first because I wanted to do like more business, like on the entrepreneur side, but still with a focus on marketing. Then I switched over to communications and like learned a little bit more about like tech and like even like a lot of like social media implications of that. And I kind of like stumbled upon a music internship in college where I was like a marketing intern for a what's it called, like a music venue. So I just worked like concerts and shows and festivals. And I just fell in love with that. I'm like, oh, I already love music. And like, I think it's my favorite thing about the music industry is like actually seeing like, people's reactions like in person about like music and artists that they love, and just like seeing them in like in their happiest moments of their life at the festival. So I did that, and then I did like some tech internships at like Facebook and other places like that. But then moved to Atlanta, and I found myself in a comedian space, which I never thought about ever, which I actually think is really cool. Because I think working with comedians like is really a good therapy release in the sense like you're always laughing. And now that like I'm not working with them as much, I'm like, dang, I haven't laughed hard today. Um, but, like, I worked as, like, a comedian just, like, assisting with, like, podcasts and shows, and I went on to, like, be a PA on, like, TV shows, like, reality and, like, Wild Out and stuff like that that's shot in Atlanta. And then COVID happened, and then, like, there was, like, everyone's at home and not doing anything. And then I had got a job with a music label, Love Renaissance. And at first, I was, like, the creative assistant, then become a production coordinator, basically just, like, produce, like, content and everything visual that artists needed. And then now I'm, like, I feel like I'm more so stepping into, like, a creative consulting role. Like, I kinda help and even, like, managing, like, I help a lot of people just, like, kind of figure out, like, what's next in, like, their music career, podcast career, comedians, TV, um, content, like, literally whatever. So, I feel like I don't know what my career is. I'm literally just doing things as they kinda come to me and what makes sense. In the long run, I just wanna have my TV show. So, in, like, 20 years, the next Abbott Elementary will be by me. You're welcome.
No,
I love it.
my favorite is hanging out with Faith, and we'll experience some things. She's like writing that down for my show. Like,
I
I
love that.
That's literally
like
all
I'm
I do
writing this
is have
down. This is a
adults of,
festival.
like, conversations and
All
things.
the
I'm just like, I would credit
crazy
everybody.
places
You could
to
actually come and act it yourself.
like since you were there. I think for me, I started off I always thought that I also wanted to be a doctor. I like actually really loved working with kids growing up. I like volunteered with kids in the church, and then I like volunteered with kids throughout college as well, with like college mentors for kids, and I actually like really just enjoy being around kids. So I always thought I wanted to be a pediatrician. And then I realized I was terrible at science, like absolutely awful at science, which is like you have to like take chemistry and like all these like ridiculous science classes. And I was like, oh no, I'm not interested in that. But I was always like really good at math, and I didn't know like how to exactly make that work. I think I went into college just like I actually don't know what I want to do or be, because it wasn't until high school where I realized I was terrible at science, and I was like, well, what now? So I actually went into Ohio State undeclared. I had no clue what I wanted to do, and I was just like prioritizing taking a bunch of different classes to figure it out. And then I took like some business class, and I was like, okay, this kind of makes sense and it works. So I ended up going to school for marketing, but when I graduated, I did not do anything marketing. I actually like I personally found it kind of hard to find a job in marketing and for like what I wanted to do. And I'd done like a brand marketing internship over the summer with Pepsi. And it was one of those things I was like, cute, but like not exactly what I want to do. And then this company named Salesforce that I'd never heard of ever in my life hit me on LinkedIn and was like, hey, we're recruiting for this like brand new program. And I was like, I need a job. Like it was one of those things where it's like, I don't, at this point, it was like final hour. I was like, I don't care where I end up. I just need a job. Because at this point it was looking real slim. I was like, I just need something. And so I go to this company, and if you're not familiar, it's like tech CRM space. They like build out tech instances for companies to kind of like help them with their business processes. And I loved it. Like I absolutely loved it at Salesforce. It was something that like I never heard of, but I didn't realize that they like powered a lot of companies that like I also worked with or like was like interacting with, like Nike, Spotify, like Netflix, all these different things. They need tech behind them. So I absolutely loved that job. And then during the pandemic, I was like, I always told myself I wanted to go to business school for grad school. And then I just had more time to study and all of that during the pandemic and ended up working out. So I ended up going to grad school to get my MBA. And then I left and went into the media industry. I will say, Faith, like even as you were talking about your career journey, one thing that maybe like I've always kind of noticed, but like I think being around you and like being your friend, you've exposed me to like what else exists. Like I think that when I went into college, it was like you can be like a doctor, you can be a lawyer, you could be an engineer, you could like go work at a business maybe, but like even this idea that there's like a business behind media, I didn't even it never like crossed my mind. It was always like you need to go to like film school or something like that. And I think that like I was like, oh, I didn't go to film school. Like I don't know how to work like all these like fancy cameras and stuff. So like the media world isn't for me. And I think that like seeing you like intern with the concert company and like seeing you like behind the scenes and stuff like that, I was like, oh, this stuff actually exists. And it's like work can be fun if, obviously it's high pressure and like hard and stuff like that. But like you can enjoy what you're doing. And I think that that's been like a really cool part about like us experiencing life together is I'm like all these things just like exist. Like I wouldn't have known like they didn't tell me kind of thing. But I feel like my career path has been like it hasn't been linear, but it I think like makes sense because I feel like growing up I was always just someone who like would pick up something and like try it and then be like and just abandon it. My parents will tell you all the time that I like begged for an acoustic guitar at like age 9.
Like, your mom told me this story.
Crazy.
I begged for an acoustic guitar, like begged for it because they wouldn't let me do a band instrument because they sent us home with those recorders at like age like 9 or 10. And I didn't practice it because I thought the recorder was stupid. And so like, I hated it. Like it was plastic, it was gross. So like I just didn't want to do it. But then they were like, oh, well, since you couldn't practice that, you can't play an instrument. And I'm like, no, like, that's not how it works.
You were 9.
So eventually they like get me this guitar. I promise you I played it all of like 10 minutes of my life. I was like, I'm strumming it and it's not like making the noises. So like, well, we're gonna like do something else now. And so I think that like all that to say that I'm always been someone that's like, oh, this sounds really interesting. Let me just like try it and figure out if I like it. But I think the one thing I've been kind of challenging myself to do is like to stick with things a little bit longer. That goes for like hobbies, that goes for like jobs, and like, okay, you're not going to be good at something immediately. Do you not like it because you're not good at it, or do you not like it because it's not for you, kind of thing? It's like what I've been kind of balancing. I guess with all of that being said, how have your guys' idea of success within like career, within your life, like personally or professionally, how has that changed as you've gotten earlier? Like, has the goalpost moved, or is success the same as it was to you growing up?
For me, I think growing up, my definition of success was like, oh, okay, like I want to be rich one day, and like I used to like see myself like running a business, like CEO or like da da da. I would never be a CEO of a company at this point, but like, that is not my goal anymore in any way. That sounds like a chore. Now I feel like my goal in life is to genuinely just like be happy and help others. Like those are the two things that like that's all I'm striving for. And like obviously like I'm ambitious, like I work hard, but so I think like the money piece of it will come. But like if it is not bringing me joy, like I will like find something else to do. Like that is just how I function. That's why I live all these different lives of coaching, of invest, like doing random things. Like I invest in startups, like all these random things I do because like in the moment this is what brings me joy, so I just pursue it. And I think that's like what I'm genuinely just striving to throughout my life. I like have never had like a, oh, by 30 I want to do this, by 40 I want to do this. As everyone knows, I definitely go with the vibes every day, and that's how I am with my goals as well. Like I usually think of like a 3 month goal, and like that's about it. That's as far as I can think. I don't know. If I'm happy in the moment, I will keep going and doing what I'm doing. If there's any moment where I'm like, this is no longer bringing me joy, or this is taking joy away, or it's just like it's not what I want to be doing, it's not helping others, da da da, I will go find something else to do. That is just, I don't know how I'm going. Someone actually asked me this like, oh, like 10 years from now, like where do you want to be? And I was like, that's a great question. I don't know, happy. I don't know. I haven't thought that far. But
I'm gonna go next just because I think that mine kind of relates to that, but like opposite end of the spectrum. I think that I habitually stay in things way too long out of like fear, and that's like across everything, like personally, professionally. I'm just like, what if XYZ doesn't work out? And I think that that is like where I'm at for this year and like moving forward, is that I think growing up too, I like have this idea of like, okay, success is like you make as much money as you can make, and like as long as you have that, you'll be fine. And I think that like the past couple of years of my current role have shown me that like, oh no, I actually am not willing to be miserable for the sake of money. And it's not like I'm making some insane amount of money or anything like that, but it's like one of those things where it's like if you like continue going down this path, you only make more and more. And the more I like see that, and the more I'm like, oh, but that's why you're making so much, is because you're willing to like sacrifice so much, like whether it's your time with your kids, your time with your family, like free time, time for yourself, sleep. Like I've realized that for me, none of that is really worth it to the extent that a lot of people are willing. And I don't think that it's a bad thing to be like, you know, that's my definition of success, I'm willing to make those trade-offs. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that everyone's a little bit different, and if that's like what you want, then absolutely go for that. But I think for me personally, it just doesn't resonate as much anymore. So I think the space that I'm in now is kind of getting to that point of, this does not serve me anymore. This does not make me happy anymore. I need to, whether it's like take a bet on myself or like really lock into like finding something that works or that does make me happy, and kind of trusting that like God and the universe will make it align the way that it's supposed to align, and take that first step out of like not being scared, I guess. So
I'm smiling because how you say you hold on to things too long. I will quit so quickly. And I remember when I started my job after school.
You want to tell them about your 48-hour job?
Yeah, y'all, I was a bartender for 48 hours. Fun fact. Right after school, I started my job, and I hated it. Like from the minute I started, I hated it. I ended up liking it long term, but the first month, I just literally called my dad and I was like, "Oh, don't worry, I'm about to quit. Like, I don't like it here. Don't worry, I'm just gonna find something else to do." And he was like, "It's been a month. Like, can you relax? Just let it pan out." And I was like, "Nah, I don't really want to." I ended up staying, and I ended up liking it. But
I think that that's like I do think that's like a generational thing though, because even like sometimes I'll have conversations with mom and she'll be like, you know, you just have to like stay in something until you like have the next thing, or until you have like something solidified or XYZ. And I do believe that like planning as much as you can is smart. Like I think that you should do that. But like I also think that our generation is seeing like a little bit of an influx of like, I'm not happy, so I'm gonna go and I'm gonna just trust that it'll work itself out. It's like people, especially our age, are just like, no, especially when it's like corporate America and like working for the white man, all this type of stuff. It's like, no, I'm actually not gonna do that. So I think it's an interesting like balance generationally, because our parents were like at these jobs for like 40, 50 years. Dad has worked at the same job since he was like 23. And I don't know if that is the right age, but like it's almost been like 20, 30 years at this point that he's been at the same company, and he's like loving every minute of it, I guess. It's like it's interesting how like our generation will like try something for like 6 months and be like, nope, not happy, new job.
Going off of that, I think it's funny because I actually want that. Like, I want to be at a job for 20, 30 years. Like, I hate hopping around.
Really?
Like,
Okay.
I hate it. Oh my gosh, I only hop around because I'm being forced. I quite literally, like, at my last job, at my last job last year would have been my 5th year. And I was just like, yeah, I'm 5 years in. Like, not that many
Mhm.
people at the company at the time had been there for that long. And I'm just like, oh, such a milestone. And they're like, oh, bye. And I'm like, oh, 2 more months. I would have been here for 5 years. Like, I very much like staying at the place, growing with the place. Like, this is where I want
Mhm.
to stay. So, I guess back to the question, what does success look like for you now that we're older? I think before, like, success for me was like winning at like different accolades and like awards. Like, okay, you're getting a Grammy, you're
Mhm.
getting an article, you're like 40 under 30, you're 40 under 40, or 30 under 30. People know about you because of the work that you're putting in. And it's like, those are all great, fine and dandy, but people win these awards and they're still broke as fuck. I mean, still people win the awards and like they're rich too, but there's still, you can still easily be struggling with these
Yeah.
accolades and like no one knows.
Mhm.
So I think now that I'm older, I'm just like, well, success is really just like, I think success is just like security in like your life. So whether it's like finances, mental health, like your physical health, be able to like see your family when you want to, being able to see your friends when you want to, and just like what Brooklyn was saying, like overall being happy. Um,
Mhm.
I think before I wanted to be entrepreneur so bad, like CEO of a company, like super girl boss, but then it's like, no, I want the 401k and I want dental and I want health. And you have to pay for that all yourself if you're an entrepreneur.
Mhm. Yeah.
So I think even after having my last job, like we started off like not having those things. And as they were growing, like we ended up with all of those things as before I left. So I'm like,
Mhm.
yeah, like my next job needs to have all of that times 10. And I
Yeah.
think also with like my career, I've always kind of just done what was put in my face. Like stuff that I wanted to do, like I never got the opportunity to do. So I just did what people gave to me because it was like, well, if these people aren't hiring me and I've applied to thousands of jobs, I'm just gonna do what opportunity is like, well, Faith, you should do this. I'm like, well, if
Mhm.
you're gonna hire me, let's go ahead. So
Okay.
I think that's one thing I've struggled with. Even being in the entertainment industry, like I don't want to say I didn't want to be in it, but like I'd rather work for a Fortune 500 company and like be with them
Mm.
for like 15, 20, 50 years. Like I'd rather just have stability. But
Yeah.
I've been in the entertainment industry because like those are opportunities that have like been placed on my lap pretty much after I feel like I've worked so hard trying to chase something else. So I kind of always looked at it as a sign that like, okay, these are the things that I should be doing because like God is putting this in my face.
Mhm.
And then also when I get in these roles, like I'm telling people like what I want to do, and they're like, no, I think you actually will be better at this, and you should pursue this. And then within that role, I'll just kind of like craft and shift myself to doing like what makes sense, so I can stay with the company. But I think now I'm pretty much at like a point in my life where I'm like, no, I actually do not want to do that. Like,
Yeah.
not at
Mhm.
all. Like, if this is what I have to do to stay here, then I don't have to stay here because that's not
Yeah.
what I want to do. And I think me just doing what's been placed on my was me just doing what's been put in front of my face has not gotten me to where I want to go. So I feel like I kind of have to hold off a little bit more and actually try to focus on like pretty much just like do a lot more no's and
Mhm.
like try to just like focus on like what I really want to do. And I guess that just means play the waiting game. I don't know how long I have to wait for these opportunities to appear. But yeah, I guess overall, I think success is just like security and being able to do the thing that you want to do, but it's also a mix of like you have to do certain things to be able to get there that you don't.
Yeah. That's a good way to think about it. I think that like to your point, I think that being able to like stay with a company and grow with a company is important because it like shows that you can grow within a role and like kind of grow that skill set. It's interesting to me like if people, especially of our generation, aren't feeling like they're getting that, that's when they're like, no, like I'm willing to stay with the company if they're like giving me all of these things or like making me feel like psychologically safe or like valued or stuff like that. And then if they're not, they
Mm-hmm.
kind of go. But to your point a little bit earlier, I think that like one of the first moments where I kind of like realized like, oh, I had set a goal for myself and I'm definitely not achieving that was 30 under 30. Like that was like one of those things where like this last one came out And I was like, oh my gosh, I actually cannot do that anymore.
Yeah, we
Not
have
that
no
like,
time. Like
no, like
now.
I literally don't qualify anymore.
Yeah.
And so it's one of those things that's like, it's not the end of the world, but it's just like, it
Mhm.
was a realization that was like, oh, that goal that I set for myself, like at 21 in college, like it didn't pan out that way. And I think that's fine.
They got a 40 under 40 though. I think that's the like
Right.
piece.
You can try again.
I
Right.
thought that would be very helpful. I think that's like the biggest part about like growing up and being like an adult is like moving the goalposts out because you realize that things are not always going to happen when you think they are going to happen. And like that's okay because you are like doing other things and like exploring other things. I think we all really have like a beautiful storyline of like, we thought we wanted to do this and then we were like, that's not really what I wanted. Or we started doing something and we didn't like it and then we actually like turned out to like it. So I feel like we all have like a really good like balance with that. I think for me, success wise, back to your like original question of like how has success, the definition of success changed. When I was younger, I always wanted to be like rich and famous, and I still have that same goal to be rich and famous, and like that's what success looks like to me. But the like specifics of what rich and famous like is defined as is different. Yeah, because before it was like, okay, if I'm rich and famous, that means I'm like Kim K on TV. Like that was like my like definition, or like Obama, like really like up there. But now it was Kim K or Obama for me. But but now I feel like for me, when I look at like what my goals are and like what success looks like, rich to me means more like, okay, if it's the middle of the day, like I can go to a workout class and not be stressed about someone pinging me, or I can go get lunch with a friend. Like I've been watching a lot of like old reality TV or not reality shows, old TV shows. And like those people were always getting lunch with their friends like in the middle of the workday. And I'm like, that just like does not happen.
Yes.
And y'all don't work at the same job and your friends are hanging out at your office. Like to me, I'm like, that's like that's rich and successful to me. And also being able to like see your family often, especially because I don't live in the same state as my family. So like having that like freedom to travel and also like be able to have time to like have hobbies and also have like the money to invest in said hobbies. I think that is like really, really important. And I think when you're like at a workspace in the corporate America or any job, really, you look to like your managers. I always look to my managers to see like what their lives look like and if that's something I aspire to like have in my own life. Like my first job, I had some of the most like aspirational like managers. Like they all had lives outside of their jobs. Like I really liked their like marriages. Like I was like, wow, like this, they have such a beautiful marriage. How they talk about their wife is beautiful. So I was like, that's what I want. Like that is what I see. And in my next job, I was like surrounded by people. I was like, I cannot stay here because if that's what my life looks like 5-10 years down the line, then it's not looking good for me. So like that was like my tell time. Like I needed to go. And now I'm back in a place where I'm like, I'm surrounded by, once again, like fascinating people who like do random things. Like my direct manager, he's like in a band and I'm like, that's so cool. So he's like always talking to me about like about his shows and stuff. Cool. And I'm like, that is successful. You can go to work and then you can go do your little band thing with your bandmates. And I think that's just like so beautiful. So I still want to be rich and famous, but that like definition I think is becoming a little bit more clear to me as I get older.
That's the ultimate flex, is like when work is work and then you leave work and you don't think about it until you come back to work the next day. Like I think that that's like one of the ultimate goals. I think that's a good segue into one of our listener questions. And so the first question that we got says, I know everyone has their own path, but it's hard to see my friends further ahead than me in relationships and career. How do I stop comparing myself to others?
I think this is something that I really struggle with. So I would want to take this one. I think what you have to do and what I lead myself to do and try to practice and implement in my daily life is to actually do a comparison before you stop comparing, because people holistically have a very different like background in life and to where they got to this point. So like comparing yourself to someone else who like grew up differently or like have a different situation, I think is like pointless. And once you start to break down like, oh, and this may be like a little, but I'm like, oh, well, like their parents helped them do this, or like, well, they also have like a job that lets them do that. I think that is what keeps me like grounded. Like you are doing the best that you can. And I think this came into clarity a little bit more for me like a couple weeks ago. I was talking to one of my good friends, and I was telling her like, I'm planning on getting engaged this year, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, wow, like, you're such an adult. Like, you've got it all figured out. And I was like, I literally, I have nothing. I'm like, to me, I'm like, that's a beautiful thing. And it's like, you know, a marker of life. But I'm like, to me, I'm like, well, my job isn't this. And like, I'm trying to do this. Like, I'm like, that to me isn't like the forefront of my brain that like, that is what's making me successful. So I'm like, please do not take that as like, oh, I'm like doing so much better than you, because just because I got a man don't mean that like we're like, they're like I'm so much better off than anyone else.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm looking at them and I'm like, well, like you live on your own, like that's such a huge accomplishment. Like there's so many different things to compare. And I think that's what makes life beautiful, is that you're always going to be in a different season as your friends. And to compare yourself to them and get down on yourself is honestly like, it's a waste of your effort and time. So you have to put other people's backgrounds and lives into perspectives.
That's really good.
Oh, that was good. I'm gonna steal that. It's like Amaya said, a really beautiful thing. Like you and your friends, you're always gonna be in different seasons in your life, so it's really impossible to compare yourself with them. I really don't think you should compare yourself with anyone, because also what Amaya was saying, like you don't like people have different backgrounds, they were raised differently. You don't know what help they got, what help they didn't get. You also just don't know what's going on in people's lives. So you could be comparing yourself to someone that you think has a great career, great relationship, a great life, and then like years later you hear that was like the lowest point of their life. They're really going through it, dealing with things, and you're like, oh wow, like I was comparing myself to you at the lowest point of your life. So it's like, why even compare yourself to anyone? And I think also just the older you get, you just realize that like you're gonna have to start over like 1,000 times. Like you could be at like the highest point of your career, and then like something happens and your whole life crashes down. So I think it's, of course, important to like really hone in and really be confident in your own path, because everyone's life is like completely different from the next person's. So you really just have to, trust that what you're doing is for you. And if you feel like you're not going down the right path, then you kind of just have to sit with yourself and like figure out what you want to do next and what it looks like and what your path looks like for you. Because you can't just like, listen to a podcast of someone saying, oh, I did this, 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 and this, and then you go do this, and this, and it doesn't work. Well, yeah, it's not gonna work because you're not that person. Like you can take. I always say like I hate when people kind of give like those workbooks, or even like back in the day when when I first moved to Atlanta, the girls were doing like the girl boss brunches, but they're like the girl boss scam brunches, because you go pay for eat brunch with these girls and they're like telling you what to do, but it's like, yeah, you did this and this, but your uncle was also fucking, I don't know, a famous person who was able to get you in the room of these places, and they're leaving out little tidbits just to kind of, get you to spend money with them. So I think you just really have to trust your own path and trust yourself. And if you can't trust yourself, then whoever your higher purpose is, you need to go talk to them. Amen.
That was good. You guys are good at advice. Go ahead.
The last part I wanted to say is there's either a song, I think it's a song that says, why would you want to be someone else that you don't know? And I think that like really like full circles both of our points. It's just like, you don't know what other people are going through, who they really are. You only see what they let you see. So it's pointless.
I mean, timely example is the whole thing that's going on right now with Christy and Desmond. They were on TikTok like last week making like couples content. I know, like they were on TikTok last week making couples content. Like you wouldn't have thought anything was happening, but then here he comes yesterday, like, well, we've actually been having problems for months. And it's like, obviously no one would have expected. But there are people in this world that look at Christy and Desmond and they're like, oh, that's like the perfect couple. That's who I want to be like, or that's what I'm kind of like emulating my idea of a relationship around. And I think it's a good reminder that, everyone's path isn't going to look the same. Everyone's relationship isn't going to be what you see, because people just put their best forward, for better or for worse. So, all right. And our second question is, how do you balance resting and working hard towards your goals?
One thing about me, I love to lay down. I love to be horizontal. I love to take a nap. I find my balance because I do not play about my naps at all. Like I will take a nap whenever I'm sleepy. Like if I
Mhm.
just my eyes are getting heavy, I'm going to go take a nap. Does not matter what time of day it is, nothing. So I think that is a very big piece of how I find my balance because I know that I will get my nap in and I think that's what helps me like I have rest, that side of rest coming in and like I know when I wake up, like then I get back to work, then I have the energy. I actually got the advice in undergrad once. It was like 3 in the morning, and I used to be up like I used to do all nighters all the time to do work. And my friend, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired, I'm so tired. Like I can't even think because I'm so tired. She was like, okay, so are you gonna do the work or go take a nap? And I said, oh, hold on. And I was like, but that's actually great. Crazy to say that way, but that's good advice. Like I'm either going to sit here and complain, or I'm gonna do my work, or I'm gonna go take a nap. Like there's only two
Yeah.
options, and like
Mhm.
complaining isn't gonna fix anything. I think that's honestly like how I approach things now. It's like simple as I'm either going to do the work that I need to get done that's going to help me, da da da, or I'm going to do something that's going to help me prepare myself to do the work. That's kind of what helps me. I feel like I just set up my life to allow myself to like know when to take a break. Would call myself an extrovert, love being around people, like love talking to people, but like I do get to a point where I get very tired and like where I actually have no other words to say, so I'll go mute. So when that comes, I know that I need to go take myself a nap or go to a quiet place for a little bit. And so like
Yep.
I live really close to my school, so like I will go home between class if there is 35 minutes before class, like I will go home real quick to just have some silence. Whatever I need. I feel like I'm the same way at work. Like when I was going into the office, I would go and like as soon as I would get like I don't want to be here anymore, I'm going home. Like I don't know what to stay here and happy. And so I feel like it's just like knowing yourself and knowing what rest looks like for you. Like for me, it's a nap, but that could become something completely different for everybody. And so knowing what that is and finding that will allow you to know like what restorative looks like and what when you allow yourself to work hard.
And I think that's so funny because living with Bria in college, when I was very much on my like no sleep. Like I gotta go to class, I gotta go to extra activities, I gotta work out, I gotta eat right, I gotta see my friends, I wanna party. Like I'm sleeping for 2 hours and back up, don't care. I used to drink 2 iced coffees a day. That's why I can't
Oh
drink
no.
coffee now because
I
I
don't drink
maxed
coffee.
out. Like I used to drink Red Bulls like they were
No.
water. Like I
That's
don't do like
crazy.
any
That
of
is
that. But
crazy.
yeah, no, I literally my health felt it. But I still have to say, I would come back to the room sometimes and Bria would be napping. And I'd be like,
We are
it'd be like the
napping
middle of the
household.
day. And I'm just like, dang, what's her class schedule? Like, how can she afford a nap right now? And I'm just like, dang, I want to take a nap. And it's very much like I could have very much taken a nap. Like I didn't
Mhm.
yeah, so I could have taken a nap. I didn't have to like run to here, run to here. I could have like kind of like minimized my schedule in the sense of like not having too much in a day, but like maybe spreading it out throughout the week. And then also, I guess, I don't know, I feel like just growing up, I never was like a nap during the day person. So I think like after living with Bria, I was like, oh, I'm going to take a nap. Like I'm not gonna wait until it's dark outside. Actually, day naps are my favorite type of naps. When the sun's shining on you,
Yeah.
it feels so
Yeah.
good. So thank you, Bria, for introducing naps to my life.
It's so
Now
funny you
I
say
be taking
that.
them.
No, it's so funny you say that because now I'm the opposite. Now it's like we've swapped because now I'm the one that is pulling all nighters. Like sometimes it's work, sometimes it's literally like, oh, I just have things I need to do. And so I'm like
Mm-hmm.
working on getting back to that where it's like, no, you actually can't sacrifice your sleep because then everything else that you do is gonna be bad. So I'm
Child, you
glad
better
that I
get
inspired you to take naps, but you just
Yeah.
inspired me to start again.
Mm-mm.
Yay.
That's the thing. Everybody needs their 8 hours of sleep. 8, no
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
less. I don't
No,
play.
for sure. Well, let's transition into our last segment, Put Me On and Put That Down, where we are putting you onto the things that we're enjoying and the things that we're going to start doing and putting down the things that do not serve us. Who wants to start?
For my Put Me On, you guys have to watch His and Hers on Netflix. I know we were just talking about we
Yes.
need our 8 hours of sleep. I actually did still kind of get 7 to 8, but I stayed up until 3 last night finishing
I
His and
too
Hers.
did that.
I was like, I got 3 episodes left and I have to finish. Like, I have to know what happens. I'm not going to spoil, but it was so good. And I was like on the edge of my seat because I thought I knew what was going to happen the whole time. And then I
Yeah.
didn't. And I thought that was so exciting in the show because some shows, like I just watched, I also did like this movie. It's also on Netflix, People You Meet on Vacation. It was such a cute rom-com. And the whole time I was guessing the ending because it's a rom-com, and typically rom-coms are pretty clear as to what's going to happen. And I was watching it with this is actually so off topic, but I was watching it with my boyfriend, and I kept being like, oh, like, I know this is going to happen. And he looked at me and was like, duh. It's not like this big secret you've uncovered. Everyone knows what's going to happen. I was like, no, like, I know. So I thought that was also a really cute movie. I love a good rom-com. And
that's on my list.
Yeah, it's really good, actually. Also has like a motto for the week, actually a motto for January. We were talking, you know, earlier, you got all these like New Year's resolutions, you put so much pressure on yourself to do all these stuff, do all these goals. And I think I watched this like 5-minute TikTok, and it really helped me kind of get in the right mood for this month, is striving for improvement, but not perfection, especially at first, because you're never going to be perfect. That's good. Then putting down, at least for me, mad processed foods. I was like starting to have like gut issues, like be like very bloated when I went to bed and when I woke up. And I have started to slowly cut things out of my diet and just like being more careful as to things that I'm having like reactions to. And like these past couple of days, I've done really good with it. And I feel like so much better already. Like I have not been bloated in the past 2 days. And I'm like, wow, so people are right. Like if you don't eat that stuff, you don't feel bad. It's like mind blowing to me. The people are right. So yeah, put down things that are making your stomach or your systems hurt.
It's a good one.
I agree. Put that down.
I think my put me ons are, to our early conversation, is making my sleep non-negotiable. I think that it's always something that I'm like, okay, everything I need to get done can take precedence, and then my sleep can take the backseat if it needs to, where I need to kind of flip that, and like resting is the most important thing, and then that just makes like being able to work while I'm awake more productive, better work, all of that. So definitely putting you onto that. Also was going to say His and Hers on Netflix, very good, please go watch. And then my other one is Unrivaled. Are you guys familiar with Unrivaled? Okay, so
only because of you.
Only a little.
Okay, if you're not familiar with Unrivaled, it's a 3-versus-3 women's basketball tournament where all the girlies, not all the girlies, some of the girlies from the WNBA, they go play in this tournament that I think it runs until like March or April. Don't quote me. It runs for a little bit. And I think it's just the coolest thing because it's disrupting like professional basketball in the sense that like everyone kind of knows the WNBA players don't get paid very well, but they're paying the girls over at Unrivaled, and I think it's really shaking things up, and it's just like a very cool concept. So I've been watching Unrivaled. If you're interested in women's sports or if you just want to support women athletes, like go check it out. They stream all the games on HBO Max, but I think it's just like such a cool concept too. And then my put that down is kind of related to our earlier conversation. I am just putting down doom scrolling. It's something that I just want to be super conscious and like mindful of for this year. And not to say like I can't be on social media, but being on social media for like hours at a time, it's one, not super productive. Like I could always be doing something more productive with that time. But two, I think that's how you kind of fall into the wormholes of comparisons, because it's just like the more you see, like you see one post and it's like, okay, this person's flying business class here. Wish I could do that. And then like you scroll some more. This person just got engaged. Wish I were engaged. Scroll some more. And then it was like, then that's easy. Just kind of like keep falling into like the wormhole of comparison. And I think that like obviously you have to like get to the root of like not comparing yourself to others. I think that that's like step one. But I think that the more you just like overexpose yourself to other people's lives, that's like where it becomes a little bit more difficult to like draw the line of like, that's something that I want because I want it, or that's something that I want because this person has it, or because it looks cool because they have it. So those are mine for this week.
There's this, on your second topic, there's this TikToker, and it's like this girl and this her brother, and like they like literally do like how much I spent in a month, and it will be like the craziest, like most obscure numbers. Like, oh, I spent $10,000 on this hotel, and then I had to spend $15,000 for Uber Eats, and then like it's just crazy numbers. So yeah, that was just falls into. I
also really like though how that content is becoming very tone deaf. Like I like that. I don't like it because obviously it's like, you know, people can do what they want with their lives, but I think the social media world or social media consumers are like seeing that kind of content now and being like, can you read the room? Because we're like in a recession. Like we're literally in a
We
recession.
dying,
can
Kim.
afford. Yeah.
Literally, like
We are
people are
in different
like
tax
people
brackets.
couldn't even afford food over the holidays and stuff, and you're talking about you spent
Mhm.
$10,000 on Uber Eats. Like, get a
Yeah.
grip. So I think that as a collective, we're starting to like wake up to that kind of content. And I
Yeah.
think that like a couple years ago, it was super aspirational. Like, oh, I wish I could do that too. But now it's like almost like cringe because it's like, oh, you just don't have self awareness because everyone is struggling actually. So
Yeah.
Put me on, put that down. So I put me on the topic of rest, finding new methods for rest. So I love a military nap. And I don't even know if it's like a technical military nap, but I've just always called it that. But a 25 to 28 minute nap. Love it.
28
We're back.
minutes. I
28
used to
is
do
so
that.
specific.
like, is that scientific or is that just a number you picked?
So
No,
I
it's
never
some. It's
did
like
research on it, but someone once said this in
it
college
is.
of like, oh, it's like 28 minutes. Yeah. And I just like started
Huh.
doing 28 minutes on the dot and love it. Wakes you up so much. But
Okay.
military naps. And then recently I've been reading, which I used to hate reading so much, but now I've been reading. I'm like, wait, this is actually kind of cute. I see what y'all like.
I get
Had
the
no
hype.
idea why y'all are actually reading books for fun, but okay. Crazy. And also knowing when to go home. Me and Maya were literally
Oh,
talking about
that's a
this
good
earlier.
one.
Yeah. When I'm ready to go home, I'm ready to go home. And like nothing will change my opinion in that moment. I want to go home. And so just knowing when to, and it's like, it's okay to leave. Like some people are like, oh, I've only been here for an hour. I should stay. No. Go home. Go home. So
Mhm.
putting you on and then putting that down on the topic of like productivity, people giving you like their emergencies, like because of their lack of preparation is put that
Mhm.
down. Don't let them add stuff on your plate because they weren't prepared, because they didn't manage their time well. A simple no works just fine, or I have other things to prioritize right now. You got that. I feel like being in school, I've had to get so good at that because people will hand you stuff like so, oh,
Yeah.
can you do this real quick? Can you do this? No, I
Yeah.
can't. Please.
So for put me on or put y'all on, like, cooking at home. I feel like
Mm.
this sounds so simple, but who is really doing it? So
Mhm.
when I first moved to Atlanta, I had gained like lots of weight, like 100 pounds, like very dramatically. And when I think back, I'm like, what was I even doing? I was eating out every day, every meal. Like I was not cooking. And I remember like my roommate at the time, like she would cook very thoroughly, like every meal. And I'm just like she's having Thanksgiving for dinner, and I'm just like ordering crab legs and fucking cheesecake and shit and pasta. And I'm just like, oh, how did I gain so much weight? Because bitch, you're not eating real food. So kind of going back to Amaya's point. You have to cook at home. You have to eat fresh. Like you can like these processed food and like all the additives that they put in our foods and drinks and everything are like as we get older, one they're getting worse by the day
Mhm.
because fuck was it the F not the FDA. Is it the FDA?
Yeah. Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah, fuck them.
FDA.
Um
Mhm.
everything that they say is like good for us. Like years ago, you're supposed to drink this amount of milk and eat all these
Mhm.
little cereals. Why are we eating cereal? That's not it's sugar. Like, what the fuck is that? Like, you need to eat some eggs
Someone
and
told
some
me,
fruit
and
and shit.
I haven't looked into this, but someone mentioned it to me literally yesterday, and was like, the food pyramid, I guess, is
They flipped
inverted or
it.
saying
Yeah.
switch.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
what?
Propaganda.
That's
It's protein
crazy.
propaganda.
That's insane. I need to look into this more
So
because I didn't know
no, it's
that.
literally so fake, and they're just pretty much wanting to make you buy these products so they can make more
Mhm.
money, but the products are killing us by the day. So
Yeah.
I think over the past couple of years, I've really gotten to a good habit of just eating at home, and or cooking at home, eating at home. And I
Mhm.
think
Mhm.
also over the holidays, I just ate really like way too good. Like I was eating at home, but I'm eating like Thanksgiving, Christmas for weeks. Like we're just still in between. We're still eating and cooking the
Mhm.
same things. Like there's no salads, there's no greens. We're just cooking and eating. So now that it's January, I'm like, huh, I gotta eat salads every day and drink smoothies and not
Mhm.
eat fucking grits and fucking cornbread and shit. So I guess
I
it's like
see.
eating at home, but also like eating like healthy, eating healthily
Yeah.
at home.
I'm I'm still stuck on you ordering crab legs.
Oh yeah, girl. When I moved to Atlanta, I don't know what it like. We did not grow up eating crab legs in Ohio.
Mhm.
Like that wasn't like a thing. At least with my family, like it wasn't until like the juicy crab opened up, and then
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
the
Wow.
there was like surges of like all these crab leg places that just opened up around the world.
Yeah.
So then like when I moved to Atlanta, it was such a big thing. I'm like, crab legs, like I love them. I feel like it's definitely like crab leg culture has died down. It's kind of like gone back to like, you know, the people
Yeah.
in like Baltimore and like the real Maryland people that really have the good fresh ones. Because also
Mhm.
like being in like middle America, like we're getting horrible quality fish. So who wants to eat that?
Yeah.
Also put y'all on, use the Yuka app. What is it? No, it's not Yuka. It's
I've heard
I've
of
heard
this.
of this.
YUKA. So it's actually
Mhm.
so funny. Back to Christmas. I was Christmas dinner shopping with my boyfriend's mom, and we're in line, and we got like all the bad things. Like can't like I don't even buy canned foods. Like I don't really
Mhm.
buy too many canned or frozen foods, but like recession, this is what we're doing. So
Mhm.
we had a whole bunch of like bad shit. And this guy in front of us was like, "Oh yeah, I got all the good stuff." He literally walked up to me. He was like, "You need to download the Yuka app and look at this right now." And I was like, "I'll download it later," because I'm like, "Sir, stop talking to me. Like I'm trying to get through the line. It's been a long day." So then he shows me on his app. He's like, "Look at this," and we had got some type of sausage, and it was like 1 out of 100 on the app. I'm like, "Oh my god,
Yeah.
that's actually horrible. Like, how is it 1 out of 100?
Uh-huh.
And we're about to consume this in our body." But
Yeah.
I started using it and even like comparing like healthier foods and like seeing if like
Mhm.
is it actually healthy or not, because like all the yellow and the red or whatever the hell they be putting in our stuff, it just adds up to like, you know, cancer
Yeah.
and all the bad health things that happen to us in the future. So
Mhm.
yeah, use a Yuka app. Put that down. Alcohol and wine. Unfortunately, we're day 11 into no dry January. Oh wait, no, into
Oh, you're
dry
doing dry
January.
January. Okay.
Clearly, I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I'm
I
doing
would
dry
try to.
January. I've never done it. I've done it before, but I've always like let myself drink wine because I'm like, oh, like wine, like
Wait,
there. But then
Not
it's
dry.
like
I wonder why you differentiated alcohol and
That's like
wine.
moist.
to me that's
That's
two
damp.
separate things. But it's not a damp January. But yes, okay. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do it and not drink wine. And I just feel like it's just so great because we had went out last night for like the first time I guess all year. And I feel like I also just use alcohol to like be a little bit like less shy and like more
Mhm.
fun. I think like the
Yeah.
older I get more shy, which doesn't make any fun. I'm just like, oh, okay, like I also still felt like a very boring bitch compared to everyone else that was like running around, dancing, being drunk. I'm like, ugh, I just want to be like that. But I'm like, I have to find a way to be like that and not be drunk because you just have to be a fun bitch all the time. So
Agree. Yeah.
yes, dry January is taking me back to being a fun sober bitch.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, Faith. I literally said that before before you got on the call to Bria and Amaya. I said my new goal
Mhm.
for the year is to not drink.
Yes, like,
What's
and
the
I feel
year?
like overall, also just you feel better. Like I woke up today, did not have a hangover, but also weirdly because the club we went to, like they were smoking, like you could smoke, like while people
Mhm.
were smoking like cigarettes, you know, like Black and Miles and stuff. First of all, that shit
Mhm.
stinks. My hair,
Yeah.
everything,
Yeah,
in
put
my
that
purse.
out.
I'm like, I can't wash my purse, so I'm like
Yeah.
trying to scrub it down with wipes. But I feel like I woke up from like I guess like a tobacco hangover of like all the smoke being in my throat.
Mhm.
So I'm just like, dang, I feel like this without alcohol. How the hell was I feeling when I was hungover drunk?
Yeah.
But
I
yeah, so
love
put
that. I
down
love that more people are getting on this wave, and like I know that like maybe we'll talk about it in another episode. Like I feel like our generation's new like commitment to sobriety, not like
Mm-hmm.
not all of us
Yeah,
obviously, but like
because we're
I
also
feel
getting
like
old.
sobriety.
So
Yeah, I feel like sobriety is something that's coming up more and more as people who are like, no, actually, I'm not going to drink anymore. I am not doing dry January, but I did decide I'm giving up liquor this year. So I'm like not drinking any liquor, only wine, and
I'm so
we'll
proud of
see
you
how
for
it
the whole
goes. I
year.
guess for the whole year, I just want to see like how it goes.
that's
But
amazing.
Good luck.
I couldn't do that,
That's
but
great.
that's
I feel
gonna
like
be
you're gonna feel
great for you.
good.
I think that like I realized I was like every time I drink liquor, I just like my next day it's like a 48-hour commitment because it's like well
Yes.
I wake up next morning and I just lay in bed because I'm just like alcohol consumption does not have to hurt. It just has been
Yeah.
hurting. Yeah, maybe we'll talk about that in another episode because I feel like it's coming up more and more, especially with like all the like non-alcoholic wines and stuff like that, and all
Oh,
the
yeah.
companies that are
Yeah,
popping
Bethany
up.
got me
So
some, which I actually do
Mhm.
plan on
Is it
drinking.
good? Oh.
No, I plan on drinking it this month since I'm doing dry
I
January.
see. It
which
was an accident.
which brand was it?
I'm actually not sure.
It
You
was
know,
There's a
from Whole
black-owned brand.
Foods.
Okay, there's
From
a
that
black-owned brand
CVS
called
girl.
like Sensory.
Oh.
Did she go to CVS?
There's one
Oh, I
that's
didn't know.
a girl at CBS started. I think it's called Propio.
Okay,
wait, that's
I
yeah,
think.
I like that they're
But
popping
she's a
up.
black girl
So.
too. What was I
Okay.
gonna say? Oh yeah, I was trying to get Amaya and Michael a bottle of wine, and it looked like a real bottle of wine. I was telling Maya, I just grabbed it. I was like, "Wow, it looks cute. It looks real cute. Flavors look good." It said non-alcoholic. I said, "Oh my bad, my bad, girl."
No, I've been saving it. It's perfect.
Right, it works out. It works out.
All right. Well, that wraps up this week's episode. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you want to connect with us or send us any questions for future episodes, you can send us an email at theheysisterpod@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Instagram at theheysisterpod, and there's a link in our bio that has access to all of our social medias and to listen to the podcast on all of our different platforms. So we cannot wait to see you guys next week. Thank you so much for listening. Bye, sisters.
Bye, sisters.
Bye, sisters.